Hey guys, what's going on? It's Groundhog's Day. And here on Staten Island, they have their own little ceremony here at the Staten Island Zoo. I'm about to go check it out in about 20 minutes because it doesn't start till 7 o'clock. And it's like 6:40 a.m. right now. Yeah, I know. I'm usually not up this early at all, so this is crazy. I'm like practically asleep. I've never done this before. So it should be cool. And I've also, I feel like it's been a minute since I've done a vlog too. So, so I'm here. All right, so now I'm going to tell you guys some facts that I looked up about 2 in the morning last night. Staten Island Chuck is also referred to, and I'm reading this off Wikipedia. I know Wikipedia isn't the best, but it's got, it has some facts. It's also, so Staten Island Chuck is also named Charles G. Hogg. Isn't that crazy? I don't know what the G stands for, but it's just that, it's crazy that it has this really long, kind of formal name. Farmers there would use the signs of like groundhogs coming back up from migration as signs of whether like spring would come early or not, and when to start like planting their crops. And like February was usually the time where they would start seeing them. So they say the groundhog's hibernation lasts perfectly, like matches winter's duration. But I actually looked it up. It's kind of funny too. I have it right here. Apparently groundhogs, they come up in February, but not necessarily to predict the weather or anything, or just it's more for like mating. But yeah, that's the thing. This has been going on for a long time. Different states and Staten Island here since like the 90s. So ever since, we've just been taking advice from an oversized guinea pig with buck teeth. Chuck's predictions apparently were accurate 68.4% of the time from 1992 to 2016. While Phil in Pennsylvania was only 42.1%. It's really all just for comedy. If you really think about it, it's just for the fun of it. Obviously, I mean, the fact that we have a rodent predict the weather. If he sees a shadow, that means winter is another 6 more months. But it's kind of weird because if you really think about it, like winter, if you really think like winter, it's usually like cloudy, snowy, things like that. So, and then when you think like summer, sunny, warm, you think like clear skies, sun out. But when the sun's out, you see your shadow. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I don't get. It's just a tradition. People do it every year. Maybe Bill Murray would be here. The movie Groundhog's Day? Yeah, where he just relives the same day every day. That would be kind of crazy. I looked it up too. Apparently in the movie, he technically lives that same day almost like 10 years. You would get to the point where you just want to kill yourself, but then you'll just relive the day again, and it's just, ooh, boy. The mayor would always like come here, and so Bloomberg, who was kind of a dick. So in 2009 and 2013, Chuck bit Mayor Bloomberg, which is funny. And then he didn't attend for the 5th time. He just didn't show up. Groundhogs only live to about like 6, right? So obviously this whole time since they've been doing it, they've used many different groundhogs. Obviously, they're not like immortal. They've just been using the same Chuck. They just use the same name and everything, which is crazy. Mayor de Blasio, who's our current mayor, and he's even a bigger dick. He got bit in 2014, right? And it turned out that Chuck, it wasn't Chuck, it was actually his granddaughter, Chuck's granddaughter. When Charlotte bit de Blasio, by the way, animals tend to know when like people are dicks. If you see a dog like not really like somebody, unless the dog's a jerk off. But if you can kind of tell, if a dog's like normally cool around like other people, but then just this one guy, then you kind of know the guy's an asshole, right? So like these groundhogs biting these mayors, like they know they're not like de Blasio doesn't even like Staten Island. I know he doesn't. He treats it like crap. Barely, he never comes here, and he hasn't so he hasn't been here since well for Groundhog's Day, he hasn't been here since that day he got bit. But you know what? He probably hasn't been here since like that day too. He like I said, he doesn't like Staten Island. I just know it for a fact. He does nothing for Staten Island, and it's terrible. But it's actually pretty crazy. So that day he dropped Charlotte, 2014. supposedly a week later, Charlotte just died from causes that the zoo says they're not sure about, and they say it's not because of the fact that he dropped him. But I don't know. I don't really believe that. That's a little suspicious. You know what I'm saying? The fact that she just happened to die a week later after he dropped him. After he dropped her. I just doesn't add up. All right, so it's 6:55. It's about to start, and I'm about to go in. So I'll see you guys in a bit.
Yep, there it is. Every year. Yeah, it's free, which is cool, If you had to pay for it, I probably wouldn't have gone. But, then again, I haven't been here in, years, Oh, my God. That thing's huge. Oh, a red king... No, that's not... So, apparently that's a red kangaroo, guys. I don't know why it says that. Oh, there you go. Yeah, like I said, an emu. So they're in the same exhibit? He's following me. These guys are pretty cool too. These rams or something? No. You have a more unique name, I'm sure.
Are you gonna bite me? Maybe. Are you gonna bite? You don't bite them.
Have a few cool animals here. What is it? An alpaca? Right? That's what that is? Yo, what's up, dude? This guy's just yeah, I play my guitar, He plays in the band. It's dude, it's so big. Oh. Oh. Were they about to fight? Yeah, what better way to have the anthem start? With two bald eagles, huh?
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, our fantastic staff, all our docents and volunteers, I welcome you all here today to get the prediction for this winter and when it's going to end. We have the greatest little zoo in the world, according to the Wall Street Journal. And as you can see from all of you here today, braving this cold weather, it must be that good, for you're all here. And I want to thank our wonderful MC, the comedian of the year, for the jokes of the year. But again, welcome you all. Thank you all for coming, and let's see what Chuck has to say.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Frew. Now, we could never have an event like this and all the great programs without sponsors, generous sponsors. So I'm going to bring up the sponsor of this event from Investors Bank. Now, check it out. Investors Bank has a lot in common with Chuck, too. Like Chuck, the bank generates a lot of interest, right?
Oh, God.
And they sure don't like early withdrawal like we're going to do today with Chuck. He's always ready to spring into action, our Congressman Max Rose.
Wow.
He was just elected.
Good morning, everybody. Deputy President Ed Burke. This guy's an all-star. He drops jokes and animal facts like the mayor drops groundhogs.
So I told you guys as well.
I trust the mayor with the groundhog as much as I trust James Dolan with the Knicks. Ooh, it's too soon. We've got my good friend Speaker Corey Johnson here today. Let's give him a round of applause. I don't think Scott Stringer's here yet, but Scott Stringer is thinking about running for mayor. Corey Johnson is thinking about running for mayor. Last year, Scott brought us an early spring, so no pressure, Corey, okay? As many of you know, I've had to spend a lot of time down in D.C. dealing with a lot of trivial, absurd, childish human beings. So it is great to be up here to figure out whether a furry animal is going to bring us early spring. This is a nice change. We should all be proud, though, of Chuck. I was telling my friends in the Pennsylvania congressional delegation that they may have won the Super Bowl, but we got the best groundhog. All right? What do you think, kids? Would you trade Chuck for a Super Bowl? Would you? No. Never. Chuck's the best. The other groundhogs are fake news.
Here's the quiz. Chuck is the most accurate four-legged forecaster in the country. Is he correct 58% of the time, 68% of the time, or 78% of the time?
68. I looked it up.
78! You are correct.
I was wrong.
What is Chuck's favorite food?
Wikipedia lied.
You would think it would be iceberg lettuce, but it's sweet potatoes. Chuck is a vegetarian. What is Chuck's favorite vortex? The polar vortex. Yeah, we're gonna eliminate that one for next year. Why doesn't Chuck have a mate? Because he gives them the cold shoulder. What is Chuck's favorite song? Shadow Day in the Park, Chicago. Who is Chuck rooting for to win the Super Bowl? The Rams or the Patriots? The Patriots, because Rams like to headbutt woodchucks. Why doesn't Chuck like to watch the Bill Murray movie Groundhog Day? Because it repeats on him. And when Chuck does watch TV, what's his favorite button on the remote? The pause button.
Thank you, everyone. As our great Deputy Borough President said, I have been Speaker of the City Council for a year now. I have been acting public advocate since January 1st, and today this might be the coolest thing I've done in a year or in a month. So I am happy to be here. I'm excited to meet Chuck. I love that our great city, New York City, and the great borough of Staten Island has its own groundhog. I'm not going to stand here today and badmouth Puxatawny Phil. He is also a legend, but New York is a very special place, and we deserve our own groundhog. I just want to say that the Deputy Borough President used the number 78% of accuracy. The Advance last night said it was 81%, so we have to check those numbers. Again, I would never trash talk Phil. I have nothing but respect for meteorologists of all species, but we know that Chuck is the most accurate groundhog. It's not a surprise. You can't make it in this town if you're not on the top of your game, which is why Chuck is the GOAT of groundhogs, the greatest of all time. There is no debate. Of course, I have heard stories about Chuck. He can be a little bit difficult. Chuck is a little bit of a diva, so we'll see how it goes this morning. We know that he bit the former mayor. But he's a star, and I am honestly just as happy to share the stage with him. And of course, I will address him by his proper name, Mr. Charles B. Hogg. It has been a tough, very cold week in the city, so let's hope that Chuck's shadow sleeps this morning so that we are on the road to an early spring. Thank you all very much for being here, and I look forward to working with Chuck this morning.
We have now reached the moment of truth, the big prediction. Now, in years past, you know, we've had the bite heard around the world and the leap of 1,000 headlines. So, in these days, Chuck is a solo act. Nobody will hold Chuck. He's going to remain in his habitat, but you'll get a very good look. All right. So, it's time for Chuck to emerge from his burrow and give us his prediction. Will spring be on the way, or do we face 6 more weeks of winter? And now, students and all our guests, make some noise. Let's do the countdown with the screens. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
2. Thank you, Chuck.
The prediction has been made, but let's have the speaker come up here and say it to the world.
What's the prediction? What is it? What did he predict? Explain. What do you think?
We're going to have an early spring, no shadow from Chuck this morning.
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I thought I was gonna be able to get footage of Chuck, but like they wouldn't pick him up, so that kind of sucked. But here I am at his weather station here. Here's Chuck's exhibit right here. You know, it's pretty cool. He's got his little house there. So I don't know if he's in there now. The girl told me like he said he might be back here, but I don't know if he's in the house right now, and maybe just chilling in there. I'm not really sure, or they might still have him like inside somewhere. I don't know, but I just wanted to show you guys his place. You know, at least, you know, unfortunately if I don't get to see him, help Chuck pay the mortgage on his new house. Chuck, you got a nice ass place. I can't even afford my own place, okay, buddy? I need donations. Damn. I know it's been a minute since I've like done a vlog like this, so if you are watching, thank you, appreciate it. This is Groundhog's Day in Staten Island, and I'm sorry you guys couldn't see Chuck. So because of that, here's a picture of him right now from last year. If that is Chuck, because you know they're always like changing him around, but that's generally, you know, who he is, what he looks like. I think ever since he was that one was dropped that one year by de Blasio, I think they haven't done it since, like picked him up like they used to. So yeah, you could blame de Blasio for that.